Alright, another update. Ran into a predicament. Hopefully somebody's got the suspension up as well and can give me some more input. So I got this stuff tech screwed in place now. Seems to be good. Got 90 degrees on this. The rest of the car seems to be level. It's all tech screwed around. 90 degrees on both ends. It's just clamped up top, there and over there. So the predicament I'm running into is, in which I don't really know what makes much sense of, which is why I have the strap run across. So my rockers are the same width across pretty much, here and here. They're right at 54 3/4. Slightly more spread right here, I believe. I want to say it came to right at 54 3/4 though. Now, in the back here from underneath the car, when I measured across it, from this lip down here and over there, I get 55 inches. Isn't that much, 1/4 inch off, and a huge deal, but maybe that explains for this gap right here. Maybe. But to me, it doesn't seem like that makes much sense, because if anything, I figured the rocker was kind of canted that way, which would make the lower measurement less, not more. So I don't know. But the other predicament I ran into with my suspension is, I checked before, ow, I hit my head on the freaking frame rail. This hole to other hole measures 37 3/4, slightly less. I think the actual measurement calls for 37.62, which would be right under 37 3/4. A couple of these drawings show. This one shows 37, and if it focuses, 37.62. Another one shows 37 3/4. Both of these prints I got off of a web page where a guy made a frame jig for his 68 fastback, and he checked amongst most of these blueprints or frame measurements, whatever, out of whether it be Ford tooling books or other people who had good cars that he checked measurements on. Now, so my hole to hole comes out correct. My inner to inner frame rail measurement comes out to 36 inches, which, I don't know, maybe none of these have the actual measurement for that, so who knows if it's right. But there's that 54 3/4 for rocker to rocker. So mine's a 1/4 inch off at the rear. But anyways, on to the point. My predicament is this suspension, which I had hoped I'd have it together again when I made this video. This slips over, or this section of it bolts over the front floor supports, and this connects the front of the floor supports. Then this back here bolts up with this bracket and this bracket, and it passes through where the front of the rear leaf spring mounts through this hole, I believe, with one of those long ass bolts right here. So it's this kit. Total cost involved looks like this when it's laid out. So my predicament is this piece here, which connects in between the rear frame rails, measures out to 34 3/8. That's a problem with my inner frame rails, measure 36 inside. So that's the unbolted measurement. When you bolt it all up and tighten it down, it measures 34 inches. Now these bolts here, once it's passed through, leave about that much gap. So it's not like I can run it through and tighten it down to try to pull my frame rail that way. Now what I don't get is if my eye-to-eye measurement for my frame rail alignment is on point, I can't change where they drilled those holes, and that should be on point as well for the inner measurement of the frame rails. I mean, maybe it's off, but it shouldn't be off by much if so. But my problem is there's no way in hell this thing's fitting in and bolting up the way it sits. I've got roughly 1.5 inches to 2 inches of makeup. So, curious if somebody could give me their inner frame to inner frame measurement. So you can understand what I'm saying, the inside of this rear frame to the inside of this rear frame. And why the hell not give me the outside to outside, just so I can see if maybe these Dynacorn frame rails aren't to spec. I really do not want to have to pull those back out again, especially since, let's see here. That cross member and mini tub frame rails were welded in. Now, that cross member and the way those were welded in makes it where I can't really pull this back in together much anyways. But I shouldn't have to, because like I said, the measurement eye to eye is on point. And it's the same for this one here, which should be the center line as well. So, if somebody wants to give me some input and some measurements, I'd be much obliged. And I'm pretty much at a standpoint until I can figure out how to do that. Because I'm using this as a guide to where to tech screw those to the floor, so I can begin fitting my front frames to my firewall and my torque boxes. I'm really, really hoping I don't have to turn around and pull my rear end back apart. So, whoever wants to give me some info or answer some questions on that, please feel free to. This part I was just going to do is I saw another guy that had the same issue do on the web, that all he did was cut this where I marked this line. That's the flange for the rear frame. He just cut it down that and pretty much butt welded or filled in the gap so he could butt it up against this side. So that's what I plan to do. Got all my new fancy stuff to get my front end welded up. It's my Rod and Custom Mustang 2 cross member. That's the sway bar. That's my front radiator's core support and cross member. And our fender aprons for the where the hood hinges go. My extensions, brand new, because I didn't want to refab those raggedy ones. I had to take my rear quarter off so I could get to this little booger to run this strap through. But, alright guys, thanks for watching.